Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to get into two huge debates happening in Washington right now. And trust me, they could change everything about your money and even the internet itself. We're talking about the race for the next version of the web and a big push to stop lawmakers from trading stocks. We'll look at it all through the eyes of a policymaker who's right in the middle of it.
So I know what you're probably thinking. Crypto and Congress. What's the connection, right? Well, they might seem totally separate, but they actually boil down to one big question. Can our laws even keep up with how fast technology is moving? And can they meet the demand for a more ethical government? Okay, let's dive in, starting with this global race to build the next chapter of the internet.
All right, first up, the future of the internet. And no, I'm not just talking about getting faster Netflix streams. This is way bigger. We're talking about a global competition to build the next evolution of the web, something called Web 3. And honestly, some folks in the know are worried the US is already falling behind.
So to really get what Web 3 is, we've got to talk about Web 2. It's the internet you're on right now. Think about it. It's totally dominated by giants like Google, Facebook, Amazon, you name it. And let's be real, the US absolutely won that race. Almost every huge tech company is based right here.
But Web 3, it's trying to flip that whole model on its head. It uses the same kind of technology that powers cryptocurrencies, that distributed ledger stuff, to do something pretty radical. The goal is to take power away from those big tech giants and hand it back to you, the individual. Think of crypto and digital assets as the fuel that makes this whole new decentralized engine run. So here's the real shift, the big idea. Web 2 is totally top-down. You've got a handful of companies controlling pretty much everything, all the information, all the data. Web 3 wants to be a network of equals. The goal, as one lawmaker put it, is to democratize the internet. It's all about putting you back in charge of your own digital world. And this is where the urgency comes in. Lawmakers like Congressman Steele are saying, hey, we need to win this race. There's a genuine fear that because the US doesn't have clear rules, a clear rules of the road, all the amazing innovation, the investment, the smart people, they're all just packing up and heading to other countries. So here's the big problem. It's kind of a paradox. The argument is that these draconian or just plain confusing rules aren't actually protecting anyone. Instead, they're just pushing these innovative companies to go overseas, to places like El Salvador. And what happens then? Well, American consumers are left with zero protection. So the goal is to build a smart legal framework right here in the US to keep that innovation at home and to put real essential consumer protections in place. Okay, so that's the whole debate about trying to regulate this new digital frontier. Now, let's switch gears a bit. We're going to talk about a totally different kind of regulation, regulating the regulators themselves. Specifically, should members of Congress even be allowed to trade stocks? I mean, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? If you want to trade stocks, it's called Wall Street. If you want to legislate, come to Capitol Hill. This is the core of the whole argument. A lot of people are saying you just can't serve two masters, the public and your own portfolio. The fear, of course, is that those two things are bound to conflict. And the underlying idea here is really, really simple. People in Congress get access to a ton of insider information, stuff that can literally move markets. And the worry is that they might use that knowledge to make a profit for themselves. It's not just about the money, it's about a huge erosion of public trust. So why is this such a huge deal all of a sudden? Well, it's because the current rules, the ones that are supposed to give us transparency, are full of loopholes, big ones. And those loopholes make it really hard, if not impossible, for regular people to see what's actually happening with their finances. And this is where it all falls apart. Right now, when a politician reports a stock trade, they don't have to give the exact amount. Nope, they just report it in these massive ranges, or increments. So a trade could be for a few $1,000s or nearly $1 million, and it looks the same on paper. This makes it super confusing and basically impossible to know what they're really doing. Okay, so we've got two huge paths to reform being debated. One is all about the future of finance with crypto. The other is about the people in charge. So what's the status on all this? Where are we in the process? So let's break down where these two efforts are. They're on completely different tracks. The crypto regulation bill, it actually passed the House. And get this, with a lot of support from both Democrats and Republicans. That's pretty rare. But now it's basically stalled out in the Senate. The stock trading ban, though, is way earlier in the game. It's still being hashed out in committee, just trying to build enough consensus to even get to a vote.
At the end of the day, these are two very different debates, but they have one big goal in common. It's all about updating the rules for our modern financial world and making sure they're actually fit for the 21st century.
And that really brings us to the big final question, doesn't it? As finance and technology just keep evolving at this breakneck speed, can Washington's rules possibly keep pace? It's a huge challenge. The question really isn't if the rules will get outdated, it's whether our government can adapt quickly enough to matter.